Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. The Bloodline picked up a shock win against the Roman Reigns-led group at Crown Jewel. Solo Sikoa pinned the original tribal chief following multiple Samoan spikes. Vince Russo recently reacted to the match's outcome. It was an all-out battle at Crown Jewel as the two factions collided in a six-man tag team bout. Roman Reigns and the Usos seemed to have some problems getting on the same page initially, but things settled down once the match got underway. However, even that was not enough, as the Bloodline reigned supreme. This week on the Coach and Amp Bro Show, available exclusively on Backstage Pass, former WWE writer Vince Russo detailed why Reigns decided to take the pinfall from Sikoa. The veteran writer pointed out that the new Bloodline didn't have the same star power as its previous iteration. Russo felt that Roman Reigns might have wanted to take the pin to make Sikoa and his henchmen even more credible heading into Survivor Series 2024. Is it possible that's what Roman wanted to do? We've been saying all along, and I've got heat for this too. We've been saying this all along. The current Bloodline is the B team. If that is the feeling, and I promise you that is the feeling within WWE. If that is the feeling, is it that far-fetched for Roman to say, let me put them over? That may bring them up a level, that may even us out a little bit going into Survivor Series. I would not be surprised if this was Roman's suggestion. From 1922 onwards. After the match, the Solo Sikoa-led group attacked the OG Bloodline, prompting Sami Zayn to rush to the ring. Upon his arrival, Zayn started attacking Sikoa and his henchmen. However, the night did not have a happy ending for the babyfaces as the master strategist accidentally hit the hell of a kick on Roman Reigns. At Crown Jewel, WWE shocked the world when Roman Reigns, the seemingly invincible tribal chief, took his first pinfall loss in over 3 years. Fans, analysts, and wrestling insiders were left to speculate about what this dramatic turn of events could mean for Reigns' legacy and the future of the Bloodline. While Reigns had been the centerpiece of WWE's SmackDown brand, carrying the Universal Championship for over 1,200 days, this was a moment that had fans and critics alike questioning the motives behind it. In an exclusive interview with former WWE star and Hall of Famer Rikishi, a man who knows the Reigns family well, we gained insight into what may have led to Reigns' surprising loss. Known for his direct connection to the Anoa'i family and his tenure with WWE, Rikishi is no stranger to the inner workings of the company's most pivotal storylines. Roman's character and the family's legacy are so ingrained in what WWE does today, Rikishi said. But the business has changed. Sometimes you have to make a move that, at first glance, may seem like a step back, but it's really setting you up for something bigger in the long run. The need for fresh storylines. WWE has always been about creating compelling narratives, and Roman Reigns' reign as the Universal Champion was one of the longest and most dominant in the company's history. However, Rikishi believes that Roman's extended title run could have become a bit stale if WWE did not find a way to refresh the storyline. Let's be honest, no matter how strong a character is, if you don't evolve, you risk losing the audience's attention. Roman has been the top guy for a while now, and it's easy to get stuck in a routine, said Rikishi. Sometimes a loss, especially to someone of equal or greater stature, helps elevate the entire storyline. Rikishi continued, explaining that Reigns' loss could signal WWE's desire to create new rivalries and storylines for the tribal chief. Crown Jewel is the perfect platform to make a bold statement. There's history there, and the world's eyes are on it. Roman losing there could pave the way for something even more significant, something that elevates him and others around him. The Bloodline fallout, one of the most significant aspects of Reigns' character development over the past few years, has been his leadership of the Bloodline, a faction that includes his cousins Jimmy and Jey-Uso, as well as Solo Sikoa. However, tensions within the group have been bubbling for months, and the potential fallout of Reigns' loss could serve as a catalyst for change within the Bloodline. There's always been this underlying theme of Roman being the leader, but even leaders need to be challenged, said Rikishi. Roman is the face of the bloodline, but in the same breath, we've seen his cousins and Solo start to question his leadership. That's natural. Every family has its struggles. Losing at Crown Jewel could be a trigger that sets off a chain reaction of events, with family members questioning their allegiance to the tribal chief. Rikishi elaborated on the importance of family in the bloodline's dynamics. The Anoa'i family has produced some of the most iconic stars in wrestling history, and Rikishi emphasized how this bond can both strengthen and strain relationships. Roman is the alpha, but if the family sees an opportunity to rise and take more control, it creates tension. A loss gives the younger members of the bloodline a reason to step up, and it shows they aren't just there to support Roman, they've got ambition too. This internal struggle within the bloodline could result in a possible fracture, with Reigns potentially having to defend his position as the leader. This would allow other members of the faction, like JUSO or Solo Sikoa, to step into the spotlight and assert their dominance, whether they remain loyal to Reigns or not. Setting up new feuds. Another possibility for Roman Reigns' pinfall loss is the opportunity it provides to set up new rivalries. As Rikishi points out, WWE is always on the lookout for fresh matchups that generate buzz. Reigns losing at Crown Jewel could give rise to fresh contenders eager to challenge him for the title. Roman has already beaten most of the top talent. Who else is there for him to face, said Rikishi. This loss could lead to an entirely new generation of wrestlers wanting to prove themselves against him, and that keeps the audience invested. You need those fresh, exciting matchups. Losing could open that door. WWE could be setting up new marquee feuds that could define the next chapter of Reigns' career. A feud with someone like LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, or even a returning legend could be on the horizon. Reigns' loss allows these new challengers to rise in prominence and go after the title, establishing a new era of competition in WWE. The long-term story of Roman Reigns. Rikishi also believes that Roman's loss at Crown Jewel could be part of a much larger, long-term storyline that sees Reigns go through a humbling period. Roman is a champion, and champions always find a way to come back. This loss may be the start of something new for him, where he has to rebuild himself and overcome a series of challenges that ultimately make him stronger, Rikishi stated. This narrative could parallel the rise of other WWE stars who have suffered significant setbacks only to return stronger than before. A loss could allow Reigns to explore new layers to his character, showing vulnerability and resilience. Rikishi envisions Roman going through a storyline where he's forced to prove his worth once again, perhaps even questioning his own place within WWE. Remember, the greatest stories in wrestling history involve overcoming adversity. Roman might have lost the battle at Crown Jewel, but that doesn't mean he's done. This could lead to one of the most compelling comeback stories we've seen in a long time. A strategic move. Rikishi also mentioned that Reigns' loss could be a strategic move from WWE's perspective. With the company's focus shifting toward increasing the appeal of their product globally, Crown Jewel is an event that attracts attention from all over the world. A shocking moment like Reigns losing could provide the kind of publicity that WWE craves, keeping their brand relevant across multiple markets. It's about creating buzz. WWE is a global product, and they know how to generate attention when needed, said Rikishi. Roman losing at Crown Jewel is a big talking point. Everyone is talking about it. That's the kind of moment that helps WWE stay in the spotlight. Conclusion. Roman Reigns' unexpected loss at Crown Jewel may have left fans stunned, but according to Rikishi, it could be part of a larger plan to refresh his character and set up future storylines. The loss may serve as a catalyst for family drama within the bloodline, spark new rivalries, and allow Reigns to evolve and come back even stronger. For now, the world is watching closely to see how Roman Reigns reacts to this shocking defeat and what WWE has in store for his future. Whether it's rebuilding his dominance or stepping into a new role, one thing is certain: this moment is far from the end of his story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. I'm Sorry's harsh truth about WWE's real plan for Solo Sikoa's bloodline, explained by veteran, exclusive, Solo Sikoa might have experienced a career-defining moment at WWE Crown Jewel, but Vince Russo still feels the new bloodline was nothing more than a B team. Since Roman Reigns dropped the undisputed world title to Cody Rhodes, Solo became the self-proclaimed tribal chief and brought the Tongans and Jacob Fatu into his group. As the story progressed, Roman Reigns unsurprisingly returned to TV and recently reunited with the Usos to take on Solo Sikoa's team at Crown Jewel. As noted above, Sikoa arguably pulled off the biggest pinfall of his career over Roman Reigns, but Vince Russo still wasn't convinced. On the latest episode of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, the former writer declared that WWE never really intended Solo Sikoa's bloodline to be the top faction. According to Russo, Sikoa's bloodline was set up as the B team. Russo also didn't mind getting heat for his statement, as he revealed his honest thoughts. "Bro, they said it, and I got heat for this, and I don't know why because you're idiots. They, WWE, set these guys up as the B team from day one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is the absolute truth." 48:00 onwards, Crown Jewel opened with the Bloodline match, and as expected, WWE presented some dramatic moments and built up for the next chapter from one of the most successful angles in wrestling history. With Sami Zayn back in the picture, it would be interesting to see what happens to the new Bloodline moving forward. In the world of professional wrestling, where the lines between fiction and reality often blur, few stories have been as compelling as the saga of the Bloodline. Built around Roman Reigns, the dominant Universal Champion, and his loyal family members, the Usos and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline quickly became the most captivating storyline in WWE. However, as with all things in the wrestling business, there's always a deeper layer beneath the surface, a harsh truth that is carefully hidden from the audience's view. And in an exclusive, behind-the-scenes revelation, a veteran WWE insider sheds light on what's really going on with Solo Sikoa's position in the Bloodline, and it might not be what fans expect. The veteran, who has worked in the WWE for decades and has seen the rise and fall of many legendary factions, sits down for a candid conversation about what's truly at stake for Solo Sikoa, the man who has quickly made a name for himself on the blue brand. Though Solo's current alignment with Roman Reigns and the Usos has been part of a long-running angle that has captivated audiences, there's a darker, more cynical story about how he's being used in WWE's long-term planning. A star in the making. For now, Solo Sikoa's rise to prominence has been nothing short of impressive. Debuting at WWE Clash at the Castle 2022, he immediately made an impact, helping Roman Reigns maintain his stranglehold on the Universal Championship. From the outset, it was clear that Solo was being positioned as the enforcer of the Bloodline, the muscle that could handle business when the Usos' craftiness couldn't get the job done. His no-nonsense style, mixed with his undeniable talent, made him a natural fit in the faction, and fans were eager to see what WWE had in store for him. But as the veteran reveals, what the fans don't know is that Solo's future is far from certain in the Bloodline. Solo's being used right now, but long-term? It's a whole different story, the insider says. WWE is using him as the next big thing, but they've always had eyes on him as a bridge. A stepping stone to something bigger. They want to give him the rub, to make him credible, but at the same time, the ultimate plan for Solo might not involve the Bloodline in the way people think. The insider stresses that while WWE has big plans for Solo Sikoa, it doesn't necessarily mean he'll be staying in the Bloodline forever. The long-term vision, according to this veteran, is for Solo to eventually break free from his family and chart his own course in WWE, possibly as a top star in his own right. However, this path is fraught with complications. The problem is, the moment Solo breaks away, he risks being swallowed up by the competition, the veteran warns. WWE is not keen on creating another top star that could outshine Roman Reigns. That's the harsh truth. Roman Reigns' shadow. The biggest obstacle for Solo Sikoa in his pursuit of a main event status is the enormous shadow cast by his cousin, Roman Reigns. Reigns is the face of WWE, the top draw, and the champion of over 1,000 days. For Solo to be treated as anything other than an accessory to the bloodline would require Reigns to step down from the throne, or at least share it. This, the veteran explains, is where things get tricky. Roman isn't just a champion, he's WWE's biggest asset, the insider points out. As long as Roman is on top, Solo has to accept his role. If he steps out of line, if he tries to make a name for himself too soon, it'll disrupt the entire structure that WWE has built around Roman and the bloodline. It's a delicate balance. The truth is that Roman Reigns, now firmly entrenched in his tribal chief persona, is far from ready to relinquish the position of WWE's top star. Reigns' position at the top of the mountain has been carefully crafted over the course of years, and WWE has invested too much in him to let anyone challenge that throne, especially not a family member. As much as Solo is talented, there's a ceiling to how far WWE will let him go while Roman is on top, the veteran explains. The reality is, if Solo gets too big, he could threaten Roman's status. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. A longevity game. The veteran also speaks about the longer-term nature of WWE's plans for the bloodline. While Solo's role as enforcer might seem vital now, the veteran believes that WWE sees this as a way to extend Roman Reigns' reign for as long as possible. The company knows that eventually they'll need to elevate new stars to keep the product fresh, but they're not in a rush to do so. WWE's whole idea with the bloodline is about keeping Roman dominant, with Solo and the Usos as the enforcers, the veteran says. They're playing the long game. This isn't just about 1 year, it's about a legacy. In many ways, Solo Sikoa is playing a role that many of the great wrestling legends before him have filled, being the silent, dominant enforcer who does the dirty work, all while the main star shines in the spotlight. But the harsh reality is that WWE may not be fully committed to Solo in the way fans hope. Solo is a piece of the puzzle right now, but that puzzle isn't necessarily built for him to become the star of the bloodline. He's here to solidify Roman's reign, and once that mission is accomplished, WWE will need to figure out what to do next. The future is unwritten despite all the behind-the-scenes politics and WWE's careful planning. The veteran insists that Solo Sikoa's future isn't entirely decided yet. The veteran admits that while Solo's position in the bloodline might be temporary, it could also lead to something bigger if the stars align. WWE could very well change its mind on Solo, the veteran acknowledges. He's got everything. He's got the look, he's got the in-ring ability, and he's got the family heritage. If WWE gives him the right story, Solo could be one of the biggest stars in the company. However, the key word here is if. For Solo to become WWE's next big star, the company will need to see more than just his ability to work as an enforcer. He'll need to step out of Roman Reigns' shadow and prove that he can carry the company on his own. That's the hard truth, the veteran concludes. Solo can't just be the enforcer forever. He has to break free. But whether WWE will let him do that in the future, that's something nobody knows. For now, Solo Sikoa remains an essential part of the bloodline. But the harsh truth is that WWE's real plan for him might not involve him being the star of the faction forever. His time will come, but only if the stars align, and Roman Reigns' reign eventually comes to an end. Until then, Solo's role will remain firmly in the shadows, working as the muscle for one of the greatest champions in WWE history.